welcome to my channel. My name is Tilly and today I'm going to be filming the BookTuber Newbie Tag. Okay, so I've got the list of questions on my iPad. So the first one, why did you start this channel? I've been watching BookTube videos for years and years from the likes of Book Roast, Becca and the Books, Gav, Cody, honestly the list just goes on and on. If you look behind me there's probably loads of books that come from BookTube recommendations, and then recently I've got more and more involved in sort of Patreon communities, and I've just been really loving being able to have people to talk to about books, you know, anticipated releases, what's coming out, what I've been reading, what I'm excited about reading, and I just kind of want to do that a little bit more and make some more bookish friends that I can talk to about this kind of thing. A lot of my friends outside of sort of socials, they're not really that interested in books, or they might be, but you know, they're not willing to kind of, or they're not, a lot of my friends outside the bookish community aren't really into sort of talking about reading, or not into reading, or you know, not into the same kind of books that I am. So it's been really nice to kind of share that love online and be able to talk about books that I'm excited about and make some recommendations. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I'd like to do my own readathon one day. I've been thinking about ideas of what I'd like to do. It's quite difficult because a lot of fandoms have already been done, but I think I'm going to do one of my favourites, but just kind of put my own spin on it. Although I said this bookshelf is littered with BookTube recommendations, there's also loads of book series that I've not read yet. For example, I've not read The Bone Season, the David Budd trilogy. There's just so many books that I've not read, so if you would like a reading vlog where I read some famous series, then please let me know. As much as I'd love to be able to create a TBR game for you guys, I'm completely a mood reader, so I find TBR games personally a little bit too restrictive, so that probably isn't something that's coming, but you never know. I'm also quite a creative person. I studied film studies at college and then went on to do media for a little bit at university. I'm the type of person that if I see something cool, it will bug me until I figure out how to do it. So I'll go into like a little creative rabbit hole and try and figure out how to do that thing. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I think it's just what I've already said really. I'm just excited to have a space to be able to talk to people about books, share ideas, share favourites, and also find out about new books that I could be reading that you guys love as well. Why do you love reading? I feel like my answer is probably going to be very similar to other people in the sense that, you know, reading is fun. It offers that escapism to, you know, escape to another world, perhaps when, you know, even perhaps maybe when your own world isn't kind of where you want to be, you can just kind of escape into a lovely fantasy world within a book. The other thing I love about books is that you can learn about diverse communities, and this broadens, you know, my own understanding. I'm very conscious that the books that I currently read probably aren't that diverse, and when I do my end of year wrap up, I am definitely going to call myself out and say that I need to be reading more diverse books. What book/series got you into reading? So I don't know if anyone else remembers the Biff and Chip books. Those are the first books that I ever remember reading. I'm pretty sure maybe there was a magical key and maybe a fluffy dog. That kind of rings a bell. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you remember. Other than that, it was that magical series by She Who Will Not Be Named. Don't worry, there will be very little mention of her within this channel because I want to make sure my videos are as inclusive as possible. Other than that, other honourable mentions go to Jacqueline Wilson. Twilight was a massive part of my teens. I can remember going to all of the films at the cinema with my friends. I can remember having a Robert Pattinson poster on my wall. Other than that, I loved the Hush Hush series. I also really enjoyed the, what was it? It was like not Book of Night, that's a new one. It was like PC Cast and oh my god, I've just remembered about the Mortal Instruments, of course. I was massively into the Mortal Instruments back in the day. Absolutely shipped Clary and Jace. I know that there's a bit of controversy as to whether Jace is actually a likeable character, but I kind of grew up with them and kind of shipped them back in the day. You might mention up here I've got my little Cassandra, well, my ever-growing Cassandra Clare shelf. To be honest, as I said, I grew up with her books, and if she brings out a new one, I am going to buy it. Funny story though, I actually started with City of Glass, which is actually the third book in the series. Don't ask me why that happened. I still have my copy I think one of those two is my original copy, and I can remember being really weirded out by the tropes in that series. What would you ask your favourite booktubers? I found this question a little bit difficult to answer, mainly because I think I'd just have like a little chat with them and just find out, you know, what they're reading at the moment, if they've got anything they're looking forward to reading, that kind of thing. I thought I'd take this question a little step further, mainly because I'm not sure I like this question, and sort of maybe talk about my favourite booktubers or booktubers I've just been really loving recently, just to kind of show them a little bit of love. So first of all, we've got Book's Nest, so Beth from Book's Nest. Beth is honestly a pocket of sunshine. She radiates positivity. Her book reviews are so engaging and so well thought out, and I love her vlogs so much. Another person that I have recently discovered is Literary Lily. I don't know why every time I try and pronounce your name, Lily, I just don't know why I can't pronounce it. What's going on with my words today? Lily is just such a calming influence. Again, her recommendations are fantastic. I find we have quite a similar taste in books. Lily also promotes or educates people on autism within her channel, and I just feel like I've learned so much after watching her videos. Another person I would like to mention is Lottie's Library. I recently discovered Lottie's videos, and honestly I've just been binge watching them. Again, Lottie is so engaging. I love her vlogs. She also has the most adorable kittens, so please make sure, I'm going to leave all these people down below, so make sure you check them out. And just lastly, I couldn't not mention Ladder M, so Hannah. Hopefully that's how I'm pronouncing your username right, Hannah. But again, very engaging. I love her reviews. She's also just recently announced a Sims readathon, which I am so excited about. The Sims, if you know me, The Sims is like my favourite game of all time. I've played it since The Sims 1 and I'm just beyond excited. What challenges do you think will be the hardest to overcome? I think the hardest thing will be sort of like my confidence or feeling weird and awkward on camera. I'm not gonna lie to you, this feels very strange and very awkward. When I've watched other BookTube Newbie Tags, I think a lot of people feel the same though, so I feel like we're all kind of in the same boat when we first start out. And that confidence is something that's gonna come with time, and it's gonna feel hopefully more natural as we go along. It may actually be a question for my favourite booktubers is, how do you feel less awkward on camera? I think the other thing that will be difficult for me is sticking to making videos, particularly when I'm first starting out, and maybe the quality or the, you know, the way I'm describing things isn't quite how I want it to be yet. I made Sims videos during lockdown and I gave them up because I didn't feel like I was good enough, but I really regretted them because I could see from the first video to, you know, the fourth or fifth video that my confidence and my way of speaking had improved, and I just kind of wish I'd stuck at it. When did you start reading? Oh, this is such a difficult question to answer because as far as I'm concerned, I've been reading ever since I can remember. My childhood was littered with books. I was that shy little quiet girl in the corner that was always reading, you know, the typical nerdy stereotype. I have memories of going on holiday and reading. For example, I've got a memory where my parents would tell me off because I'd be, you know, sitting in the sun lounger reading a book and then would refuse to kind of turn over because I was so engrossed in my book, and then I'd have a horrible sunburn because of it. Where do you read? So most of the time I read on the sofa. I have a little kitten called Luna who is most of the time absolutely bonkers. Apologies if you can actually hear her meowing. She is very needy and is kind of doesn't understand who I'm talking to. Sometimes she can be sweet and cuddly, and we have a nice little cozy reading time. Other than that, I don't commute anymore, so that would be my audiobook time, but I do try and go out and do sort of like daily walks just to make sure, you know, I'm seeing some sunlight and I feel like it's good for my mindset. So I normally either listen to music or listen to an audiobook when I'm doing that. What kind of books do you like to read? So I'd say my tastes are mainly fantasy, although I do quite enjoy contemporaries. I quite enjoy a bit of romance. Another thing I love about BookTube is where I've got involved in BookTube communities and book clubs, it's kind of got me out of my comfort zone in terms of reading. So for example, I took part in Book Nest's book club, and as part of that we read Reprieve. Actually, I think I've got Reprieve. Yeah, so we read Reprieve as part of Beth's book club, and to be honest, I'd never pick this up. because I don't really like horror. I'm a bit of a wimp. Actually, I'm massively a wimp, so I was a little bit scared of it, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I actually rated this 4.5 stars. What does your book collection look like? So you can kind of see my book collection behind me. I'll try and get you some better footage as to what my bookshelves look like currently, and also I thought I'd give you a few honourable mentions about my favourite books. First of all, I love this Waterstones edition of this Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. It might not look like much on the front, but if you look at the edges, they have like really cool edges, and the end papers are also really cool, as well as under the dust jacket. Other books in my collection that I absolutely adore is I have these Dominic Weston book covers for the ACOTAR series. This is the Court of Silver Flames edition. I also have them for the whole entire series, but I have ACOTAR and ACOMAF on order from Waterstones, so I'm waiting for those to arrive before I can put on the dust jackets. I also absolutely love this edition of Throne of Glass. I don't know what it is about it, but it might just be the colour, the gold foiling, the sword. I just think it looks great. And lastly, I couldn't not mention the standard edition, but it's just stunning. Like the rainbow, the iridescentness of it is just beautiful. So there you have it, the Booktuber Newbie Tag. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to know when I next upload, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.